The story of Tituba begins in the late 1600s on the island of Barbados, where her, along with another slave named John Indian, were purchased by one Samuel Paris. They lived on Paris's sugar plantation that he inherited from his father in Barbados. Tituba was first brought to Boston when Paris moved in 1680, and eventually to Salem, Massachusetts after Paris became the official minister there in July of 1689. Although Tituba's birthplace is unknown, some historians speculate that she was born in South America and was kidnapped at a young age and brought to the Caribbean to be sold. During her enslavement, Tituba became exceptionally close to Betty Paris, the Reverend's middle child. Tituba's main job in the Paris household was to take care of her and Samuel's niece, Abigail Williams, who was adopted into the Paris family. One day in the year 1692, the two girls became horribly sick. They frequently went into terrible fits and described unnatural feelings of being pinched. This went on for some time. A neighbor called Mary Sibley had advised John Indian, who was now Tituba's husband, to make a witch cake out of rye, flour, and the affected girl's urine. It was then supposed to be fed to a dog. This was supposed to make the dog point to who had possessed them. It was John who collected the urine and Tituba who made the cake and fed it to the dog. When doctors couldn't find any diagnosis for the two girls' ailments, it was suggested that this was the work of witches. 3 women were accused of causing Elizabeth and Abigail's pains. Ironically, the accusations were made by the two girls themselves. Those accused were Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba. After Samuel found out about the witch cake, he was livid. He beat Tituba and forced her to confess. Tituba was brought to trial on March 1st. During her questioning, she gave answers that were not defensive, but instead endorsed puritanical thought. She claimed that the devil, along with several other creatures including a yellow bird, 2 cats, and a black dog, all came to her and forced her to hurt the children. She describes a woman in silk and a tall man in black dress from Boston. She told the court about riding from place to place on sticks and blamed Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne of working alongside the devil and threatening to hurt her if she did not practice witchcraft on Betty and Abigail. Tituba was cleverly manipulating her questionnaires, a skill that just might have saved her life. She knew that if she were to deny the claims made against her, she could be executed, not only for witchcraft but also for lying. By pleading guilty, she told the town of Salem just what they wanted to hear. She essentially said that yes, she had hurt Betty and Abigail, but no, it wasn't her fault. She needed to shift the blame to someone else, so she chose to accuse the 3 people who she knew the court wouldn't hesitate to put at fault. First, the devil, for obvious reasons, and secondly, Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne, because they had both already been accused. When Tituba recalled the affirmational lady in silk, she hinted that the rich and better off could in fact be witches. When she described a tall man from Boston, Tituba had possibly been discreetly referencing Samuel Paris. This could have been Tituba's attempt at taking a dig at those in power, especially those who made her a slave. Although she wasn't killed, Tituba did go to jail. She was there for 8 months because Samuel refused to pay her bail. This was likely out of spite rather than a lack of funds. Eventually, somebody did pay for her release, but it is unknown who. Nobody's quite sure of what happened after Tituba left prison, but her effect on the Salem village definitely cut deep. Whether on purpose or not, she instilled a greater fear of Satan into the minds of those who lived in Salem. They now believed that the devil was among them. Needless to say, Salem began to do something about it. Tituba was not only one of the first to be punished in the Salem witch trials, it's also quite possible that she was the very thing that began the hysteria of 1692. Tituba, the first Salem witch, has permanently affected the lives of those involved in the Salem witch trials, and furthermore, the world we live in today.